some of the elite colleges out there, Harvard, Columbia, are not standing up for what I believe to be right. And obviously, I think any good person should denounce what Hamas has been doing. Where has it gone wrong? Why is it that those people that are chanting in the name of quote unquote freedom fighters, or in the name of the oppressed, are so open and excited to outwardly bash Israel and speak with such slander and hate towards the Jewish people? Where did we go wrong as a society, and how do we fix that? I don't know. What do you think about that?
That's the question. I mean, that's the yeah. I was reading this article about this woman who was the head of the DEI department at maybe a university. I forgot maybe which university. And the idea of diversity, inclusion, and equity is an awesome idea. Of course, there should be diversity. I think diversity of thought is the most important thing, right? Because that's what attracts different opinions and different ideas is diversity of thought. It doesn't matter really what you look like, because you're going to have difference of opinion and thought if you come from different backgrounds. Like just the way even you and I grew up differently, right? We're first cousins. Our mom and dad are your mom, my dad, siblings, right? But we still grew up very differently. There's still diversity of thought, right? Of course, we lean on some same ideas, but there's still diversity of thought. That's what makes it brilliant. And so someone from even a more different background will have even more diverse opinions about that. So I think that's really what diversity is. Because people have more in common, like with how they look and all that stuff, than the way they think. And so I think that's where it went wrong. We were more worried about, filling a quota of a certain person rather than analyzing how they thought and how they viewed the world and their perceptions. Like those are the really important things. Those are the cool things about someone. I don't care what you look like. I don't care who you sleep with. I think you should sleep with whoever you want. That's fucking awesome. But the way you think about the world is important. That's what really brings something to the table. So I think that's was important. Inclusion, yeah, but like inclusion to an extent, because I played elite sports and not everyone's fucking included, man. If you don't make the team, you don't get included. Like it's just how it is. Now, in other stuff, like just things that aren't based on sort of like merit or excellence, or there's not a hierarchy of values or a hierarchy of who's better than other people, like even in the plumbing industry, like I'm hiring the best plumber. That's just what it is. He gets the job. I'm not including the guy who just started yesterday to fix my leak because my fucking toilet blew up. That's just not going to work. So inclusion also has to have bounds. Like that's what makes the community you're in important, right? Being a Jewish person, we're Jewish based on our mom and based on our soul and based on how we grew up. Like, so not everyone is Jewish. If you want to become Jewish, you want to be included in that tribe, you have to go through a lot of different things. You have to convert to that religion. You have to go through a process. If you want to be included on the best sports team in the world, you have to be fucking good at sports. And so I think the inclusion idea is also really important. People should be invited to the table to have conversations with their diverse opinions, but not every room is for everyone. That doesn't make sense, right? Because a lot of things, we're losing this idea of things that are based on merit and earning them. And there is a hierarchy. If there's no hierarchy, that means everything is the same. That means nothing is valuable. And so I think that also was an issue. And then, this equality of outcome is the same thing as not having a hierarchy, right? We should strive for equality of opportunity or whatever that is, right? Everyone should have the appropriate opportunity to put in the right work. I understand there's an underlying thing there of like economic structures and things like that play into it, socioeconomic status, like all of that plays into the opportunities that you get. And I think that is something that we can definitely sort out, because that's very important, that everyone should have their sort of basic needs met and people should be able to eat and have shelter and all that great stuff. And then they can have the opportunity to work hard just like anyone else to achieve whatever they want. But they have to be able to have those opportunities. But giving everyone the same outcome means that nothing. If everyone got a Division I scholarship to play baseball, mine would mean nothing. If everyone got to go to the same university they went to, or you have the same job, then what would it be? What would it mean? What would it mean? It wouldn't mean anything. Like humans, our lives are based on meaning and purpose. And we're so lonely and sad and depressed right now because we're void of that meaning. There is a meaning crisis happening in the world. And to then say everyone gets the same thing, there's no hierarchy, all hierarchies are bad. Yes, of course, there's some hierarchies that are bad and powerful and tyrannical and that overthrow people based on creed. But what about the good ones? What about the things that are based on merit and value? And so I think those words, diversity, equity, inclusion, are really important. But the toxic form of that, even though I don't like to use that word because everyone says it all the time, but anyways, the toxic form of that is not good. And it's rooted, according to this woman who was a DEI instructor, is rooted in anti-Semitic beliefs. And so if this DEI thing, which has infiltrated all of our institutions for the last 3 years, if that's what our people are learning, then all of those beliefs are rooted in anti-Semitism based on the idea that Jewish people are the oppressors. And so we don't include everyone except for Jews, whites, and Asians, basically, right? That's the underlying issue. And I have a lot of friends, some very smart friends who do DEI work, but they try to do it in a way that is not this toxic version. This is why I learned any of this stuff, by talking about them, by talking about this sort of diversity of thought, inclusion, but having some sort of boundaries. Still, things are based on merit and value, and there's a hierarchy and equality of opportunity and things like that. That stuff is great, but those words for some people have lost so much value because they've been shoved down people's throats so much that it just is turned off the idea if anyone comes into the office wanting to talk about these things. And so it just sets people off regardless. And so even if the information is extremely valuable and there can be stuff that can be learned, you're not going to be able to get any of it because these people are turned off because it's been thrown in the wrong direction. It's been mishandled to mean something else that it isn't. And I think that maybe could be a symptom of the problem that is definitely surfacing right now with some of these institutions and some of the big donors saying they're not going to give their money anymore because they've finally realized what's happening and what they're being taught and how much hatred there is for a group of people who are just trying to survive. And so maybe that's one. I mean, I don't know if that's well said, but that's what I think.